I don't know, 10 after 7 today, I was like, oh shit, maybe I should eat dinner. And I'm like frantically trying to make food before like we could go live. So I just have like a sausage, rice, and like vegetables beside me because I could not finish in time. So if I duck down like
you're good.
Like the usual, I feel like I eat on like 90% of our live streams anyway. So we're probably okay from that perspective.
I mean, like usually on the Monday nighters when I'm in Guelph, I'm always mucking like a wrap or something anyway. So
yeah,
we're rolling. But yeah, for those of you watching right now, go Rams tonight because a Cardinals loss would be pretty crucial for both of our teams and seeding. So
it would. And speaking of both of our teams, I talked about this earlier today, but did you see what I need to get into the listener Dynasty League playoffs tonight?
It was like Sony Michel 9 points. You needed like Kyler Murray and someone to not score like 70.
Yeah, so I need Kyler and OBJ.
Yep.
Less than 61. I need Sony Michel 8.18 or more, and it's PPR, so we should get that. DeAndre Hopkins, Stafford, and James Conner to outscore Van Jefferson by 19. So I need 2 of those 3 things to happen. It doesn't have to be all 3 of them.
Yeah, I think you'll get it done.
Hopefully.
But yeah, fucking Davante Adams went hog wild last night and kind of cost me the Tone Setters game.
Yeah.
Scored 35 PPR. But yeah, actually, let's quickly go over it. We talked about it quickly before we enter the stream. But welcome new member Jared. Appreciate you, a long-time subscriber to the channel. Glad to see you becoming a member for the channel. He says, new Hopkins over 64.5 with no Ramsey. How did FanDuel not fix that line once it came out? Yeah. I mean, with Ramsey ruled out, they're going to have a good amount of trouble trying to stop Hopkins, so that'll be fun. I forgot to do this at work today, so about him. Yeah, I appreciate that, brother. It means a lot, man. We got Ladster. Let's go. Classic. Rolling without a kicker has been worth it this season. Extra bench spot lets you add handcuffs. Madison, Sony, Darrell Williams when they were valuable. Yeah, I mean, but like, wait, so you're just not playing a kicker all year? Or are you like in a league that finally got rid of the kicker?
Yeah, I think that's what he means.
Okay. I was about to say, I'm like, wait, did he just like say fuck the position all year?
Maybe. I don't know.
Doesn't Jake Seeley do that?
Set the tone.
Yeah, amen. Antonio Brown worth holding this long?
I tend to think so, yeah. I don't think he's going to get cut. I think if they were going to cut him, they would have done it already.
Mm-hmm. I need Van Jefferson to score 8.5 or less to win. Well, I feel like that's not happening because Stafford likes using him more than OBJ. I mean, it's not exactly Stafford liking using him more than OBJ. It's more so the fact, again, the Rams are one of the most heavy 11 personnel teams in the league. And if you got 3 receivers that can just get open and make plays, like you're not just going to force it to OBJ because that's his name. So, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day here, all of them are second fiddle in that offense to what Cooper Kupp's been doing. It's so funny. I saw a stat today. Basically, his lowest scoring game was against the Cardinals PPR. And in that game, he still had like 13 targets or something like that.
He had like 90 yards or something like that.
Yeah, like it's just absurd.
His floor has been absurd this year. Before, I didn't actually announce this or anything, but in the description of this video right now, you will see that I added a way easier way for you guys to book fantasy football consultations if you're so inclined. I set up a Google form that will take you right basically to there. You can set up one with either me, with either Danny, or with both of us. And it should take you directly to PayPal where you can pay right on the Google form as well. So just a way easier way for you guys to do that as opposed to like reaching out to us and asking us how to do it, which has been the previous process. So if you guys are so inclined with fantasy football playoffs coming up, you want our personal advice, one-on-one sit down with you to set your lineups for the playoffs or whatever, we do offer that in the description right now. You guys can check that out. And of course, Jared, newest member of the channel, the newest tone setter, joins Nigel, who signed up earlier today when I was on the live stream, and then Fletsky, who signed up yesterday. So again, as we go through and we get more members, we'll start to offer maybe some members only live streams for start sit questions to make sure you guys get your stuff answered if the season's still going along at that point. And also we'll probably do some stuff in the off season, polls, stuff like that. And of course you get priority responses to comments when you comment on videos and things like that too. So definitely worth it for the price of like $3.50 or whatever American it ends up being, $5 Canadian. Anyway, Ladster, Lodestar, get those likes in. Yes.
Yep.
Please do. In my league, first to third place has a record. 8-5, all lost, giving a record of 8-6. 4 people, including me, have 6 and 7 fighting tonight in this game to see the outcome of the standings. That is wild.
That's like my league right now. There's literally like 5 teams that are 7 and 6.
Is like all their outcomes relying on tonight though, or is like some of them?
So I won, so I already clinched my spot. I know that I'm 8 and 6, despite having complete injuries. Also, I lucked into the fact that I scooped up like just random like upside shot running backs. I took like Rex Burkhead, Rashad Penny's the big one that might work out down the stretch. Like, so my whole team was based on pass catchers, and then I had a hero RB with Eckler, and now like if Penny's relevant down the stretch, pretty relevant schedule after the Rams this week. Who knows? But yeah, it's just a complete mess at this point. I don't even know what's needed tonight in order for some people to advance. But
well, it's probably like a crazy scenario like what mine is like right now.
Well, the first place in the league, I think, is going to be 8 and 6.
That's wild. Yeah, I clinched trophy behind me, clinched the number 1 seed, defending the home title. You love to see it.
What was your final record?
10-4.
I figured, yeah.
Yeah, I was the only one who's 10-4 too. The second and third place guys were both 9-5.
Dude, I still remember a couple years ago. I went 12-1 in the regular season. I ended up winning that year, but like fucking, I swear, every time you have a great record,
I got bounced in the first round of the playoffs. I went undefeated in my school league 2 years ago. I had I guess it was 3 years. It was Saquon's rookie year. I had McCaffrey and Saquon as my running backs. I had Devontae Adams. I had can't remember who else was like really good at wide receiver that year, but I had like a couple really good receivers. And then my QB was Mahomes, and I had fucking Kittle as my tight end. Like I literally had the best players at every position, and it just worked out that the guy that I played in the first round just happened to drop a huge number on me in the first round.
So you're telling me you started your first 3 rounds with Barkley, Adams, and then McCaffrey?
Yeah, I did.
What the? Because
I think I had like the 106 or something like that. And I picked Barkley at the 106, and then I picked McCaffrey in the second round, and Adams fell to the third.
Oh, what?
Well, because this was pre-Adams being like an elite fantasy receiver, right? So he was still like in that third, fourth round range where most like good receivers go, but not quite elite ones. And then I got Mahomes off of waivers like after the first week of the season. And I drafted Kittle as my tight end in like the 11th round or something like that.
That year too, I got Kittle in the 11th round, and I think I got Cooper Kupp in the 10th or 12th round, and that was when he was like first.
He was really good, yeah. Oh, Adam Thielen was the other guy I had, because Adam Thielen was like 100 yards a game, like every game for the first like 9 games of the season or whatever like that.
Because I was shocked when you said you got McCaffrey in like the late.
We drafted a bit early too, so it was like still when people were talking about like Jonathan Stewart taking away CJ Anderson taking away the Jonathan Stewart role, and McCaffrey was like a late second rounder at the time because people didn't know if he was going to get the workload or whatever. And then I think we drafted like after the first or second preseason game, and then in the final preseason game, they gave him like all the work, and then people started to come around on him, and yeah, that was
it was so funny.
I can't believe I didn't win that league. I cannot believe that's the best team I've ever had.
Dude, it's so funny because like I remember I had to take McCaffrey at the like the 1-2 turn that year, which I mean like it was a reach at the time. It ended up being, you know, like he was the RB2 that year.
Yeah,
like
RB2 or 3, something like that.
But yeah, it was funny because I remember the first half of the season having it. I'm sure you can recollect this as well. But first half of the season having him, you're like, oh yeah, he's getting the catch, he's getting the yards. What the fuck's up with the touchdowns? Why isn't he scoring? And then like the second half of the season, he just had like 10 touchdowns in the last 7 games. Like, what the fuck? But let's catch some comments. It's always fun reminiscing.
JPV says, think Dak's still a solid quarterback or get another guy. I mean, you're probably not going to get anybody better at this point in the season. Yeah. I think Dak, you just going to have to roll with the punches a little bit. The offense isn't playing well, obviously, but I don't expect that to continue the rest of the season. This was a good matchup, though, so it really sucks that Dak had a bit of a down game. It's also a bit of a product of the fact that they scored a defensive touchdown, and they were getting a lot of turnovers here and there as well, so sometimes and we saw it with Mahomes this week too. The Chiefs running back scored 4 touchdowns, and they scored a defensive touchdown too. Sometimes they just get screwed out of good fantasy performances from your quarterback, and I think that's kind of just what happened with Dak in this game.
Yeah, and I'll be honest too. Obviously, as a Cowboys fan, y'all know that I'm pretty I support my boys, but Dak's been a little off this last month. But at the end of the day, here people want to make stuff out to be way more than it is. I mean, we saw literally Mahomes go through a rough stretch. Brady went through a rough stretch for a few games. Like it happens to these elite quarterbacks. But the fact that, of course, everybody's talking about the Cowboys all the time. As soon as Dak has a bad stretch of games, people make it more out than it is. But either way, again, I think that's going to be an issue that's going to be resolved. And when it is resolved, the way that defense is playing, nobody's going to want to play that team. So rest of the season for RB3, should I drop Sony Michel or Miles Sanders for Penny on waivers? I mean, I'm not dropping Sony Michel because Darrell Henderson is on the COVID list. Darrell Henderson has already been ceding work to Sony Michel. And for credit to Sony Michel, he's actually looked like a good running back. Sanders is a little bit interesting.
Can we just talk about the fact that in the year 2021, we're talking about the 2018 draft class rejects, Sony Michel and Rashad Penny making meaningful fantasy impacts on rosters?
I would rather have Penny than Sanders rest of the season. It says
I don't want to get carried away with Rashad Penny because Adrian Peterson wasn't playing. Travis Homer wasn't playing. Are they just going to give Penny the Chris Carson role? They could. They definitely could. But are they going to work, Travis Homer back in and Adrian Peterson back in when they're healthy? I tend to think that they might. Like that. It's hard with Penny. Thankfully, I have a bye week this week in the league that I have Penny, so I get to wait and see what happens. I don't have to actually deal with it.
And it's funny because we know what Sanders' role is, and yet I would still much rather at least take the chance on Penny because we know what Sanders is. We know that when Sanders plays, that he's going to get siphoned work from Jalen Hurts. They love rotating their running backs. We've seen Boston Scott. We've seen Kenneth Gainwell. We saw fucking Jordan Howard when he's healthy getting work. It's just not a situation that I want to touch. Whereas with Penny, I mean, most of the guys are active other than AP. I mean, Alex Collins came back. We saw that we expected Alex Collins on paper to end up getting his job back, and Rashad Penny just took that job and exploded with it. So we'll see. Again, maybe it was a one-off performance. I mean, heck, what was it? Craig Reynolds ended up having a performance in lieu of DeAndre Swift this week.
Speaking of DeAndre Swift, is there a chance that he's not put on IR now? Because they said he's a candidate for IR, but he hasn't been put on IR yet. Knock on wood.
I'm not pretty sure, but yeah,
I need him, so I hope he's not put on IR. But it seems odd to me that they said he's a candidate to go on IR and he's not been put on IR yet.
Yeah,
and he wasn't actually officially ruled out until Friday this week too.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I need him for week 16. Just get him back on the field for week 16. That's all I need.
Thoughts on Javonte Williams? I mean, the talent is there, the explosiveness is there. I mean,
but Melvin Gordon had 24 carries, which fucking sucks.
It's fucking insane that we want it to be Javonte season so much, and yet even on a limited workload, I mean, I'm saying limited, he still had 16 touches in a workload that isn't all his. With Melvin Gordon being there right now, I mean, he's still been a relative RB2. Again, you're not going to expect your RB2 for the most part to be a consistent performer, but if they have the upside of a Javonte Williams, you don't mind that being the case. All this tells me is next year, once Melvin Gordon is gone, this could legitimately be again, you're going to have a couple first-round receivers, no doubt, and I fully agree. You're going to have your Tyreek.
I think he's going to go if they get Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, this is the top 5 pick. Dead ass. I don't think there's a chance he's not a top 5
How many running backs are you taking over? The only ones that you could say full-fledged, Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, if you saw them going.
I actually legitimately think you could make the case that right after Jonathan Taylor, if Aaron Rodgers is Javonte Williams' quarterback, he could go second overall.
He could. I mean, he's got the talent.
That seems crazy. A lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, that's way too high." I would still take Dalvin Cook and Alvin Kamara and all these guys over him. But legitimately, I think where he's going to go is where Jonathan Taylor went this year, before the Carson Wentz and Quentin Nelson injuries.
And it's funny because it's such a safer situation than what Wentz was, because we still had the question marks. Wentz was hurt going in. Oh, you mentioned Nelson and
yeah, that's what I mean. Because he fell to the second round by the time that stuff happened. But before that, he was consistently going in the 106 range, and people were getting all mad on Twitter, and they're like, Jonathan Taylor doesn't deserve to go the side. And the whole time I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. This is where he should be going. Then he went in the second round, and then I'm like, dude, this guy's going to win people leagues.
Well, the difference here too is that with Jonathan Taylor, you always still had the question marks that Nyheim Hines wasn't going to seize. He was still going to get his targets. And the question marks obviously with Javonte is, yes, he's a great runner. He's a great breakaway runner, but from a simple big play standpoint, he doesn't have Jonathan Taylor 4.3 speed. So if you want to counter argue each other, either way, I think
Williams has already established himself more in the passing game than what Jonathan Taylor can. Because Williams, for what it's worth right now, did run 15 routes to Melvin Gordon's 7 again yesterday. So even though he's ceding carries to Melvin Gordon, he still has the more valuable role in my opinion, because I don't think the Broncos are going to be rolling teams 37-10 every week like they were this week against Detroit. So If in a worse game script, I expect Javonte Williams to be the more valuable running back.
Yep, no, I agree there. So we got Trojan down 21 with Kyler left, but he has Cooper. Need Cooper to bust. Cooper.
Cup.
Oh, Cup. Oh, I was thinking of Maury Cooper. I'm like, wait, what? No, you need Kyler to outscore Cooper Cup by 21.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. You're gonna need a Cooper Cup hamstring injury or something for that to work out.
Pitts or Schultz non-PPR rest of the season. Give me Pitts.
I'm still taking Pitts. It's so fucking annoying with Kyle Pitts, but the guy's legit scored 1 touchdown. Touchdowns are typically a fickle stat, and you don't want to rely on them too much, but we can't expect the Falcons to score a whole lot of them. And Pitts is still getting the usage. He's still getting targeted. He still makes big plays. I think he's going to win people leagues, to be honest. I actually think he's going to, like, if you made the play, like in my situation, I have Pitts on my team and I have a bye week. So he hasn't even really contributed to the fact that I've been winning games. If he just comes alive like a little sleeper cell by the end of the season and wins some people some leagues, I could be just extremely biased right now, but I think he could end up having that kind of impact because the whole time you've looked at Kyle Pitts' usage and it's right up there with the George Kittles and the Mark Andrews of the world.
Yeah, I mean, the usage is there. It's just the creativity, scheming him open. Like, nothing's there right now. Like, I mean, teams basically look at it and say, okay, who's going to beat us on the outside? Kyle Pitts. We're going to take him out of the game and let you guys figure it out with CPAT, who they haven't even had running routes recently. I don't know what's going on with his route participation, but it's gone to the shitter. And Russell Gage, like, are we seriously still talking about Russell Gage in 2021? Like, is that actually a thing?
I mean, to be fair, he did have a big play yesterday, and then he had a big game 2 weeks ago. But
it's just the fact that he's still relevant on the fantasy scene is just.
I know everybody gets a hard on for Russell Gage anytime he does anything. It's weird. The nice thing about Kyle Pitts, though, is that he does have, I would say, like a relatively easier schedule because you have to treat him as a wide receiver. When you look at his strength of schedule, you have to be like, he's a wide receiver, right? Yeah. So you don't look at tight end strength of schedule for Kyle Pitts. And he has San Francisco next week, who just, obviously gave up a lot of points to Higgins and to Jamar Chase. And they're just getting cornerback injuries left, right, and center right now. He's going to have Detroit in week 16, which should be, a good matchup for him. Detroit just lost Jerry Jacobs as well as one of their starting corners. Yeah. And then he has Buffalo in the final game, but again, Buffalo lost Tre'Davious White. So I think Kyle Pitts has a chance to actually be productive down the stretch rest of the season.
Yep. No, I agree. Next comment, classic tone setter in the chat. We got Hayden saying, who's setting the tone tonight? Demetrius Harris. I know, what's his name? Branson or whatever?
Bryson Hopkins?
No, okay, there's two Rams tight ends.
I have Bryson Hopkins in my DraftKings lineup.
I put the other tight end in.
I do. Okay, so Bryson Hopkins, when he was coming out of Purdue, he went to Purdue, right?
Yeah, he's a 4th round pick. I actually liked him. I thought he was like
he's a good athlete. I don't know. Like, I saw a report that whatever his name's going to start or whatever, but like we heard Jamar Jefferson was going to start for the Lions.
Yeah.
So.
Like, I think one of those guys could score a touchdown in all honesty. But yeah, like if we're talking
about he was 200. He was 200 on DraftKings. That's why I put him in.
I put the other one in because he was 400. And I'm like, okay, Bush isn't going to play him. So I may as well play the other. Hey, at the end of the day here, we're hoping for a touchdown. We don't really care about the median projection from those shitty Rams tight ends. At the end of the day here.
Putting him in my lineup allowed me to get Christian Kirk, Rondell Moore, and Kyler Murray, in addition to Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford. So I literally got like everybody relevant from the game, right? So
I went the other way. Let me see where I went.
And then on FanDuel, I also did a FanDuel lineup because I actually won a decent amount of money on FanDuel yesterday. Shout out to the Jimmy Garoppolo double stack with the Jamar Chase run back on it.
I didn't play yesterday. How much you win?
I won like $40 on that lineup on a $5 entry. So if it was a bigger contest, I definitely would have won a lot more. But I got fleeced on DraftKings yesterday. I got absolutely destroyed.
You're talking about your lineup with Lucas and stuff in our
league, right? But on FanDuel, I also made a lineup with Bryson Hopkins, and he was 5K on FanDuel. Obviously, with FanDuel and DraftKings, the pricing difference is a lot wider on DraftKings.
Yeah, like this is gonna sound gross, but so I've Kupp in the MVP. I mean, it's Cooper.
I think I put Kupp in the MVP. Actually, I put on DraftKings or on FanDuel. I put Hopkins in the MVP, but I have Kupp in the MVP and on FanDuel or DraftKings. I mean,
I put Blanton in because he's literally 400, and I'm like, okay, like realistically, what is the difference between Tyler Higbee and those other two tight ends? Like, honestly,
probably. I mean, if one of them gets the Tyler Higbee role, like they're going to be just as productive as Tyler Higbee, probably.
Yeah, and like for 400, like he's slated to get the whatever. Like, I'll just take the shot there. Got James Conner. I feel like he's going to be a decent leverage play because all of you guys are going to play Kirk, Kyler, everything D-Hop. So I'm like, yeah, win with Connor. Michelle on the other side. Put Prater in because this guy's actually been putting up a lot of points recently. So I mean, in the
Kicker
game,
analysis, nice.
Yeah, you know, high volatility game, high scoring projected game. I'll take the shot on Prater for 4,200, and then I get Stafford. So
just out of curiosity, I don't know if Winks has the Underdog Football Show caught us in subscribers yet, because I know they're close to us. I'm pretty sure they're like right on our tail right now.
Yeah, let me take a look.
If you guys haven't checked out the Underdog Football Show, they do great work over there. They go into in depth with usage and expected fantasy points like nobody's business. So definitely check them out if you guys haven't already done so.
About 8.2 thousand now.
Yeah, so they're right on our ass right now. They're right on our ass.
Right on.
Gordo says, would you rather have all football games play in the night or have games like today, Worlds at 1 p.m.? Also, what other sports do you guys see or like? I don't mind having football the way it is set up right now. I actually do like how it's on all day. I don't really like I don't think I would like it as much as if it was on all at night.
I'm a degenerate, so I'll
watch it whatever time it's on.
Like I love like having the one day again. Like there's more days of the week because you got Thursday and then Saturday this week. So and then Monday night. But
right, we do have Saturday football this week. Love to see it.
In terms of like an all day event, like again, I could still scheme my day around if there's one game I have to schedule at night or if we have a live stream before and then the game. But I love having just one day a week, like especially a Sunday, where I can say, you know what, I don't have to worry about work, don't have to worry about much. I wake up, have my coffee, have my breakfast, hop on a stream, and get to really just unwind and relax from 1 to what would it be, 11:30?
Yeah.
Like it's just different because again, like everybody's busy during the week. Everybody does their own work. Everybody, you know, has your gym life, has your work life. Like there's always stuff that's going to interrupt you, but having that one designated day a week where you can just say, fuck everything else. I'm just going to chill and enjoy something that I genuinely am passionate about.
I do also really prefer that it is on one day a week than if it was like basketball or hockey or whatever. Yeah. And I love hockey. Hockey, like I watch, you know, pretty much every Leaf game that there is. But with hockey, you got to watch it like on Wednesdays, on Mondays, on Fridays, Saturdays, whatever. And that's just me following one team. Like, like if it was for football, like if they had like 4 games on a week or a day or whatever, 3 games on a day, it would get a little difficult to watch all those games, obviously. So I much prefer like, and plus like Red Zone's just electric.
And like again, like obviously mainly NFL. I just wanted to say a quick shout out here because I had to address it. I've been talking about it for the past few weeks, but man, Cats absolutely blew that game last night. And it's so funny because I love the Cowboys in the NFL. We haven't won since 1996, despite being like a very popular team. And the Cats are basically the Cowboys of the CFL. If you guys don't watch Canadian football, this team has the 3rd most titles in CFL history. Has not won a Grey Cup since 1999, and they've been in 4 of the last 8 Grey Cups. They've lost 4 of the last Grey Cups. If you change the outcome of those 4 games, and you're talking about a team that won 4 out of the last 8 Grey Cups, you'd be talking about a dynasty. Instead, they haven't.
So they sound more like the Bills of the.
Pretty much, yeah.
Of the CFL. But speaking of, I think the Leafs are the Cowboys of the NHL. Oh, because because we experience, like, I'm sure you're in Cowboys Twitter right now, you're seeing the sky is falling shit about your offense. That happens to us all the time with the Leafs because, you know, anytime Austin Matthews hasn't scored in like 3 games, everyone's like, what a bum. His contract's terrible. It's like, it's so annoying. Anyway, let's actually answer some questions. Literally talking about like other shit that nobody cares about. So Ron says, good evening, gentlemen. What's up, Ron? Will Kyler Murray score more than 24 points? Yeah. I would almost set that as his like over under in this game. Like that's a pretty fair, like, you know, 50-50 point, I would say. I think he's definitely capable of doing that, especially with no Ramsey out there.
Absolutely. Not playing one most of the year. Oh, okay. Buddy's just setting the tone on that kicker spot. He's just saying, see ya, I don't need these little Fugazi kick points.
Oh, he's literally just not starting one?
Yeah, he doesn't need these little Fugazi kick points. He's just going to beat you down. You know, he's going to convert his 3rd and 2s. That's for sure.
He probably was like against having kickers in his league. And it's like, I'm not playing a kicker this entire year if we're going to have kickers, and I will win the championship anyway. That's a total setting move.
You know what?
Yeah.
My boy Cooper couple touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, it could. Hopefully, we see a couple Cooper Cup touchdowns because I do have that Stafford with the Cup MVP in our little league there. So Corey, watch out. I need 75 points from Connor, Kyler, and Kirk to make the playoffs. 2% chance. I mean, if we're gonna do this mathematically, Kyler, you could probably peg for about.
It's tough because they're all on the same team. If you had one Ram and then like 2 Cardinals, that would be a lot more ideal because Connor and Kirk are going, and Kyler as well, are all going to kind of eat into each other's production to some extent. You're going to need a barn burner in this one for this to happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, like if you figure Kyler's probably going to go anywhere between 20 and 30 points if you're to set the range. Connor, I mean, he could I don't want to even set a range on Connor because he could score anywhere from 10 points to 30 points if he puts in a couple touchdowns. So it's gonna be a tough chance, but hopefully that happens for your sake. Same in my league, 4-person tie at 6 and 8 for 4th place. Yeah, that is ridiculous. Do you think Eckler plays this Thursday? Have him in both my leagues and only one first round bye. Part of me wants him to rest, but the other part wants him to feast. I think he's gonna play Thursday. I mean, do you have any news on it? I mean, I know you did the live stream this morning, so you would.
Yeah. So Eckler, I mean, based on what it sounds like, they said it's like a low ankle sprain. I wouldn't expect him to play Thursday, though. If I had to guess, it's
unfortunate.
The shitty thing is that he's playing Thursday with ankle injuries. They swell up. It's probably looking a lot worse today than it was when he was playing yesterday. So I'd imagine he's probably going to take the 10 days rest that he'll get after the Thursday game.
So we have 3 separate, like, high-key fantasy football players that are dealing with low ankle sprains right now. Because apparently
the other two.
Apparently Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen.
Yeah, Lamar is also dealing with one as well. Is Josh Allen's an ankle injury too?
That's what I heard.
I think I saw a foot injury for Allen. Yeah, if that's any different, I don't know.
I heard it's low ankle. I think I saw that McDermott.
But either way, if you guys have like an Eckler Lamar Jackson team that's making the playoffs, that is really, really unfortunate that could happen.
Yep. Let me just take a look. Suffered a foot sprain. Yeah.
Yeah. One of them. I think AJ Brown will play for the playoffs, and if he does, do I start him instead of Javonte Williams or Stephon Diggs? Not over Diggs. I wouldn't start him over Diggs. Javonte Williams, I mean, it's really going to depend. With AJ Brown, as an AJ Brown fantasy owner in my home league, I'm expecting, because I have a bye this week, that AJ Brown physically can't be activated this week. So he can't play this week because he's on IR. This is the final game of the IR that he can be activated. So the earliest he can possibly play is week 16. And if he plays, you got to expect probably that he'll be limited to some extent when he comes back in terms of his routes, because we already saw them do it with Julio. Julio only ran like 50% of the routes yesterday. And even though AJ Brown, like maybe he runs more routes than that, maybe he's like up at 70%, but he'll probably only play like 55% of the snaps or whatever in his first game back. So I think you got to just kind of hold out hope that you can get to week 16 for starters in the playoffs so that you can use AJ Brown. And we'll probably have to cross that bridge when we get there, because I'm not really sure if they're going to activate him immediately, because that's only the minimum time that he can come back, because they might activate him week 16 and he might not be ready to play week 16, and then he won't be on the field until week 17.
Yeah, no,
so there's a lot of factors with AJ Brown. For my sake, for all of you guys that have AJ Brown's sake, I hope he's just back on the field week 16, no setbacks. He's just ready to go.
It's pretty nuts too, because I right before David Montgomery was dealing with his injury and AJ Brown got placed on IR, I shipped both of them for Davante Adams.
So yeah, that's wild.
I got lucky there, and Davante Adams ended up helping me clinch.
Yeah, all I want for Christmas, because I believe week 16 is literally on Boxing Day, on the Sunday, is that AJ Brown and DeAndre Swift are in my lineup. That's all I want for Christmas. That's what I want, because if I have those guys, I got the best team in the league.
Hope AJ Brown plays tired of McLaurin. Yeah, I mean, on the flip side too, I mentioned I traded for Davante Adams. I'm like, okay, now I have Darrell Henderson. I don't trust him long term. I basically flipped Darrell Henderson and Zach Ertz in exchange for Terry McLaurin and Rob Gronkowski, and now Terry McLaurin's dealing with concussion, so it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, not ideal. I need Stafford to not outscore Aaron Donald by 13 tonight to make the playoffs. I honestly have no idea how IDP scoring works, so I couldn't tell you if that's close to happening or not. I've literally never played in an IDP league, nor do I know how the scoring works in an IDP league. Gordo says, last year someone was undefeated, no loss, but he lost in the final game against me. I was last person in playoff position, trying to be back-to-back champions. Yeah, I won the championship from the 6th seed last year. So I did it the hard way, like the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2004 or whatever, when they went in the wild card. And I think the Giants did it in 2008 too. Weren't they the 6th seed?
Well, I did. Wait, yeah.
We were the 5 seed last year and we won the Super Bowl.
2011 Giants, right? You're talking about that team?
Or was it the 11 Giants that won the Super Bowl from the 6th seed? Or was it the 18-1 Giants that won it from the 6th seed?
2011 Giants, because they beat the Falcons in the first round. I want to say it was 23-2, 24-2. Then they went on the road in Lambeau, beat the 15-1 Packers, and then in the NFC Championship they beat the Niners in overtime, and then they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And who was it on the sideline? Is it Mario Manningham that had a crazy?
Yeah. Manningham catch. Yeah.
And then Gronk almost caught like the Hail Mary something at the end of the game. Yeah.
Is Scary Terry startable in the playoffs? As long as he's on the field, he's startable. You can't really blame him for getting a concussion and dropping a 0 in the lineup. Definitely sucks, but he's startable. It depends what your other options are, though. He's only like a wide receiver 2. If you have better options than Terry, I'm okay sitting him, but I'd imagine you probably don't have much better options than him, given probably where you drafted him. Burrow or Dak rest of the season?
That's close.
That's a close decision, man. I know Burrow has a pretty easy schedule, if I'm not mistaken. I know he has Baltimore this week, and then actually let me just look because I have Higgins on my team.
Dak's got Giants, football team, and then Cardinals.
Okay, so he has maybe he doesn't have the easiest schedule. He has Denver, Baltimore, and Kansas City, and Kansas City's been pretty good against quarterbacks. I probably would slightly lean Dak, but it is probably like those are like the QB 8 and 9 rest of the season. Like it's probably very close between those guys.
And to me, this wouldn't be a discussion if Dak wasn't off right now. Like if this was like Dak for the first 7 weeks of the season, I don't think it'd be particularly close because again, you got comparable pocket passing type of quarterbacks. I mean, I want to say Dak still has the rushing edge, but realistically here after that ankle, after his calf strain, like when he runs the football, it just kind of looks ugly at this point. So yeah, I mean, it sucks because he's got such a favorable schedule. Obviously, this week the Giants, the week after football team again, and then the championship game is going to be against the Cardinals. So I don't know. I'll slightly lean Dak here because of the upside, but like, I wouldn't be at all shocked if it was Burrow from a median projection standpoint because Dak's been a little off.
Yep. That Aaron Rodgers lookalike was flawless. Yeah, it was. Bilal says this, and this actually brings up an interesting point because it sounds like he still has his trade deadline. He hasn't had a trade deadline yet. He can still trade. What are your thoughts on only enforcing a trade deadline for those who are eliminated from the playoffs? So like the second you get eliminated, you're not allowed to trade anymore. And then the teams that are in the playoffs can still trade with each other if they want to.
In redraft, I don't know.
I don't think that's a terrible idea because if you're in the playoffs, you can make a move then and like things. I think that's not a bad idea as long as like because there's less like obviously if you're already in the playoffs and you guys are both like playing each other or whatever, you're not going to collude most likely.
It's just there's a lot of like stuff that can go on. So like for example, if you're entering a playoff matchup and you're the 1 seed and you're more scared of the 5 seed than the 4 seed, you may be willing to make a move that seems lateral on the surface, but a player might have a better matchup the week that he plays when you have the bye, if that makes sense, because you would rather play the 4 seed. So there's a lot of like, I don't know, like thinking that.
I don't know. I don't think that's a terrible idea to just let the playoff teams trade within each other. Maybe you just like have a trade deadline like week 12 or week 11 or something, and then you reopen it when the playoffs start and they can trade with each other.
Maybe. I don't know. Again, dynasty leagues, I fully agree. I think, look, again, I probably got to fix that next year for our dynasty league, for our listener league. But I guess I set a trade deadline. And realistically, I don't think there should be a trade deadline in dynasty because there are so many contributing factors. So if somebody wants to make a push and is in week 15, like, oh, fuck, I just lost my running back. I need someone to replace.
Yeah, no, I don't think there should be trade deadlines in dynasty either.
So, I got to fix that for our league next year because there are still some decent, like, players, like, for example, you're a contender. If you fucking won your first round matchup and then realize, oh shit, like I lost my running back for this week. He's dealing with COVID list or something. And I said, here, take Deontay Foreman for a 3rd round pick. He has a decent matchup.
Well, I trade in the Bitcoin league. I traded what I hope to be the 312 for Javonte Freeman like 3 weeks ago. So and I mean maybe I overpaid a little bit, but I don't care like because I was down. Kamara and Dalvin Cook was dealing with legal shit at the time, so I was like, shit, I don't know if I'm going to have anybody outside of James Conner that I can start. So I just traded for Devontae Freeman in case I needed him. But anyway, so you sold DK or Higgins for Gibson. I'm okay trading DK away for Gibson if you need a running back.
Yeah, I don't mind that either. In terms of this question from Leo, hey guys, how's your leagues looking? Danny, I already heard from Bush. Yeah, for my leagues, again, I'm tanking in 2 leagues, like we're our shared league and my dynasty league. Aside from that, I only didn't make the playoffs in 2 redraft leagues, and the one of them was our listener league. Go figure. Because
I didn't make the playoffs in that league either. My team just got destroyed.
Oh yeah, no, relatable. And then in my home league, one of my home leagues, which is embarrassing enough, I didn't make the playoffs. because I was dealing with that, like Alvin Kamara throughout the year, Amari Cooper dealing with shit. Like my whole team, Lamar Jackson, like my whole team at one point or another was missing like 3 or 4, like Julio Jones, key contributors for my team.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's fantasy is so unpredictable, but when all that shit happens on one team, it's like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
what is the variance here? Please tell me what the heck is going on with this. Also, it doesn't help with the fact that during the preseason, it's a keeper league. I ended up trading Stephon Diggs or Jonathan Taylor for Stephon Diggs as a keeper, and part of the deal was that I would get his 110 or 109, and he would get my early second round pick, so like the 203. But the deal ended up being freaking Amari Cooper and Stephon Diggs, or Amari Cooper or Julio Jones, one of those two, and Stephon Diggs for Jonathan Taylor and Cooper Kupp.
Oof.
Yeah. So I have those two players. My season looks a lot different. Not fun. Next week, do I start Gibson or Zeke? I'm going to take Gibson there. Zeke's banged up. The offense doesn't look good. Pollard's going to be back. Like, I'll trust the Gibson there because at least I know he's got the stranglehold on his offense, and he doesn't look like a completely injured running back like Zeke does right now. So
I feel like we did actually 100% forget to talk about Derrick Henry, and this Javonte Williams might be the 102 discussion that we were talking about before.
I mentioned it's fucking close. I mean, like I think that's probably the top 4. So you mentioned obviously Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, and maybe Javonte Williams.
I mean, like maybe, but I think I'd still take Alvin Kamara over Javonte Williams. I know everybody's like nervous about Taysom Hill being the starter or whatever the case is, but
not even that. It's just I don't know. I mean, I got some reservations.
I expect them to either 1, get Michael Thomas back next year, or 2, get another receiver in the first round or something, and start to build up that offense a little bit more. I don't really know what they're going to do at QB, if they're going to bring back Jameis, if they're going to bring back Taysom, like whatever they're going to do. But
I mean, this is a relatively strong quarterback class, or not? Sorry, it's a weak quarterback class, but I'm saying it's got a lot of options for where they're picking, is what I mean. So
yeah.
If they want,
normally, if they're picking outside the top 3 or 5 picks, you're probably screwed. But nobody's really worthy of going that high anyway. So,
they're probably going to have the first or second pick a quarterback this year. Is what I would be guessing. Like they're probably going to pick around 10 to 14, maybe.
And I mean, it'll depend if the Lions pick a quarterback, if the Eagles pick a quarterback. Like I don't think the Eagles will. I think the Lions definitely probably won't either, because Hutchinson seems, or Thibodeau, whoever they go with at 1 is probably the most likely pick there, and their second pick is the Rams, so that won't obviously be very high.
Yeah, I mean, like again, like you mentioned, imagine like a Corral, Sam Howell, something like that. Honestly, just a quarterback that's not
Howell. Low-key, I think Howell's going to probably rise in the draft process, because he had, like, I know his PFF grade this year is like among the best of quarterbacks, and like the guy literally lost everybody. Williams, Carter, De'Ami Brown, Dax Milne, everybody from his offense is gone. And apparently, according to PFF, I have literally not watched a second of North Carolina football this year, so I couldn't tell you. But apparently he still looks pretty decent. I could see him, killing the pro day circuit and the combine and stuff, and maybe rising up to like a mid-first round pick by the time the draft comes.
I think he's gonna be a top 20 pick. He's the problem with him is, again, the ceiling there, because he's got like a little
Baker,
a lot of Baker in him.
Yeah, I mean Baker went 1 though. Like,
yeah, I mean that was.
He also won the Heisman, so that helped. But
yeah, that was always a little bit.
Anyway, it doesn't look like we're gonna get to all these. I just saw Hayden's comments.
Would you rather Javonte or Eckler if Rodgers goes to Denver? I would take Javonte.
Yeah, I would. I'd rather have Javonte.
Get your kicker for an unclaimed running back handcuff, especially if you already know you lost and kicker hasn't played yet. Yeah, I mean, like if you know you've lost, I don't hate that at all, especially in case, like, again, like say someone was mad and dropped like Chase Edmonds and then James Conner goes down today. Like,
true.
Yeah, you're chilling.
What do you think about me trading Goddard, Saquon, and DJ Moore for Kelsey? I already have Kittle and have 2 running backs and wide receivers better than DJ Moore and Saquon as of right now. One of them is always on my bench.
Well, I mean, if you already have Kittle, there's no point on doing that for Kelsey, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think there's a point of doing that either for Kelsey, because like the only reason you do that is if you're like rolling with a a slappy tight end and you're already
RSJ this week.
Like, yeah, exactly. All right, we should probably sign off here. The game's like got 3 points on the board already.
Let's go a few more. Fuck it. What's up, guys? I'm late to the party. I made the playoffs on my leagues when Packers game clutch. Played the big 3 stack in the defense. Hey, you clutched it out, brother. You clutched it. Hey, and we coming for you guys. You can set the tone for yeah. I mean, hey, you guys are nipping on the bud, so hopefully you guys keep getting the recognition because you guys do some fantastic work over there. And let's be honest, every sane fantasy football fan always loves their underdog. So
keep for sure.
Come. And Sabby need Kirk, Kyler, and Prater to get me 65. Yikes! If I win, I hasn't got Coke. Can't afford no Coke next week. Yeah, I mean, fuck, man. That's it's gonna be tough. But I mean, like,
I think Cook should be fine though. I mean, as long as Cook doesn't get COVID too. But
yeah, no, I'm mentioning like getting 65 from those 3. It's gonna be tough. The lads, yes sir. Going to the playoffs in 2 leagues thanks to the boys' help. Yeah, dude, any fucking time. We love trying to spew the knowledge for y'all. You guys help me lock playoffs, yes sir. Nice seeing that. Hopefully you guys get the trophy. I lost $250 on Nuggets. Jesus Christ, that's pain. But here, let's fucking run this draft for. Yeah, he's Urban Meyer doesn't know what he's doing. That's my
I cannot believe they're talking about not firing the guy. I can't believe they're saying shit like, "Oh, we're gonna retain Urban Meyer after this year." Like, you guys, if I'm a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, I am like egging Shad Khan's car if he doesn't fire this clown.
They're quite literally making the best quarterback prospect in the last fucking.
He's getting David Card, man. Like, he's getting David Card, and David Carr wasn't sniffing the level of prospect that Trevor Lawrence is. Like, how do you not get this? Like, this guy's been a distraction on the field, off the field, in the press conferences, like bad coaching, bad decisions, pissing off your teammate, bad in the locker room. Like, nothing this guy has done has been good. You have to fire this guy. You have to. It's way smarter. And Jason Light, the Bucs GM, says this all the time. I would rather be too early giving up on something, I'd rather be too early. Sorry. He says it's better to give up early on a mistake and acknowledge it than to, let it play out and make that mistake even worse. It's what he did when he cut Vernon Hargraves. It's what he said when he cut Roberto Aguayo. Like, fuck, dude, I fucked up. I drafted this kicker in the 2nd round. Guy can't play. I'm cutting him. Like, it would have been worse if we kept Robbie Aguayo for 3 years after that because we took him in the 2nd round and let him continue to miss kicks.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the Cowboys did the same thing with Jalen Smith. Oh, yeah, we gave him the contract 2 years ago. He sucks now. Got to move on. And now this guy's not even on a team. But, it's just, I'll say one more thing, and then we can quickly read from Nigel because we got the membership comment. But when you're talking about this whole Jaguar situation, how could you not realize going into the year that a wide receiver core of DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault, and fucking Marvin Jones was going to suffice for Trevor Lawrence?
I honestly thought it could have been fine. I mean, Chark got hurt, which obviously doesn't help. Laviska Shenault is not being used properly, and Marvin Jones was a solid veteran. I thought there was a world where it would have been half decent.
But like
if they had Joe Brady calling the plays, or like, somebody that kind of knows what they're doing, calling the plays, and I think it could have been half decent. I don't think it would have been a stretch to say it was functional as an offense. It's just a dumpster fire right now. They don't know what the fuck they're doing over there.
Like, again, like you're probably going to go line first overall or first round this year, whether it's 2nd, 3rd, 4th overall, whatever they pick. I think Evan Neal would be a great pick. Again, we'll talk more draft content in the offseason, but a guy like Evan Neal, I think that 2nd round pick has to be a receiver. It has to be. Like, like, you're going to rely on a 33-year-old Marvin Jones, a DJ Chark coming off his career or season-ending injury, and
Laviska Shenault, who has 700 career receiving yards or whatever. Like, no, it's you got to draft. For sure. And honestly, like, I don't think it's a terrible idea to potentially trade down to if Evan Neal goes ahead of your pick. Maybe they finish with the 5th or 6th overall pick and somebody takes Evan Neal ahead of them. This is a good tackle class from what I understand, so they can probably trade down. Yeah, there's a couple guys that should be available in the mid to late 1st round for them. If they wanted to trade down for some team that needs a quarterback, they could use the picks. They already wasted one of them on a running back, who I love, but it was a stupid pick.
That's what I mean too. Like 25th overall last year. I'm not sure exactly
Bateman would have been a perfect pick.
Okay. I was about to say I thought like Bateman or Elijah Moore.
No, they wanted Tony apparently, but Bateman was there.
It's fucking sickening.
Bateman gives you dial the clock back 10 years on Marvin Jones, and you have Bateman. Like,
even Elijah Moore, man. Elijah Moore was available too.
Yeah, exactly. Brutal.
It's just, I don't know.
Incompetence.
Quick again, Nigel, we got the member comment here. I appreciate that. He says, sitting at 9-5, 12-team, half PPR, worthy flex for the playoffs. Hilliard, Madison, Gallup, Parker, Hines, or pick someone up off waivers. Any suggestions? I actually don't mind Gallup. I mean, you're going to be talking about the first round of the playoffs this year. Next two games, theoretically, he's going up against the Giants and then the Washington football team. Both games, I think, knock on wood, the Cowboys should be able to take care of easily. And Michael Gallup is so underrated as a talent. I'm not going to go on my spiel about how good he is because I think you guys have heard that drawn out pretty often from
I've
now. But
memorized it.
yeah, pretty much. But either way, I mean, I'm trusting Gallup in that situation.
Yeah, he did say he asked me this question earlier today, and he said Penny's available on waivers. Like, go ahead, drop Parker or Hines for Penny just as a speculative ad. But I'm not. I'm probably not going to be willing to start him over Gallup, at least not yet. If I see another week of Penny getting a full workload with Peterson and Homer on the field again, then I'm okay starting him the rest of the playoffs. But I'm probably not going to trust him just after one game because it was against the Texans. Like, I don't want to take up too much away from but Penny did look good, so I don't want to take too much away from him at the same time either. 10-4, Cup stays under 22 points. I'll be first heading into playoffs. Sounds like we're in a very similar spot, although I already did lock it up. I'm up 60 points, and I have Sony Michel still playing. I dropped 155 points without Sony Michel so far yet this week. I dropped numbers.
Guys, the Rams +3 is a little tricky for me. I do think that the Cardinals cover today. Simply because, again, you're talking about Jalen Ramsey missing this matchup particularly. That's their one answer for a guy like DeAndre Hopkins because Darius Williams hasn't been too great this year. The Rams defense has gotten kind of exposed these past few weeks. So I think the Cardinals are going to cover. Again, I want the Rams to win personally because, again, that's huge for seeding for me being a Cowboys fan, for you being a Bucs fan if the Cardinals have one more L on their record. But I just don't see them losing this game, and it's going on right now.
The Cardinals, if they lose this game, they'll be tied with the Bucs. We're 10-3 right now too. Yeah. So I don't remember if we play them or not. I don't think we do because we played the Rams, but I think that was because the cross division. That wasn't because we play the West.
The reason why it's so pivotal for Dallas too is because if they lose this game, they are one game ahead of Dallas.
Well, and you guys play them later this year too.
Week 17. We play them week 17, and their schedule is relatively tough. Again, say they lose to the Rams today, which I don't think is going to happen. Say it happens. You got the Colts in 2 weeks. Then you got the Cowboys in 3 weeks. So, theoretically here, we could be talking about a 10-2 team finishing with 5 losses. Again, I don't think that's going to happen, but they're the most volatile team on the schedule in terms of where they could finish in the conference. They can either finish first, which they are now, or I could see a scenario where they finish fourth because of the schedule. Again, Tampa Bay's. I looked at this.
They could finish fifth too if the Rams end up taking over that division.
I looked at the Bucs. If you guys don't finish 14-3, I'll be shocked.
Yeah, dude. We have the Saints, Panthers, Falcons, and Panthers again.
Saints, Panthers, Jets, Panthers.
Jets, Panthers. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are gonna go 14-3. I don't really need to see much more. Packers.
I mean, we could lose to the Saints still. The Saints give us problems, but this one's at home. We played them on the road, and they celebrated like it was the fucking Super Bowl.
I think you guys are going to be the 1 seed. Talk about the Panthers. They play the Ravens this week with a banged-up Lamar. So, see what happens there. Hopefully, the Ravens can come through there. The Browns the week after, and then they got the Vikings and Lions to finish off. So, again, I don't think the Packers are going to drop a game there. Maybe one at most. And even if they drop one, cool. But either way, that was a long-winded answer to say that.
By the way, I swapped when you said you had Kupp in your MVP slot. I swapped him out for Hopkins instead because I figured that everybody else has Kupp in their MVP slot too, and I'm kind of feeling the Hopkins game tonight. And he's caught 2 passes in a row since the last time I said that. Anyway, Nigel commented again. Of course, he's a member. He gets priority. I hope I made the right trade 2 weeks ago. Gave away Chubb, Lamb, and Waller for Montgomery, Chase, Schultz, and Gallup. Chase versus Lamb is kind of a wash for me.
Yeah.
Montgomery versus Chubb, I'd actually rather have Montgomery. Waller, I mean, he's been injured, so I guess you've kind of taken the dub from that perspective. If you needed immediate production, I think that's a solid move, but I think I'd rather have Waller if I could have afforded to wait that a little bit longer.
Side note, Matt Prater made a 50-plus yard field goal and I got 5 points for it.
Oh, let's go. Will Fournette keep up his good pace for the rest of the season? In terms of how often he's scoring, maybe not, but in terms of his workload and his targets, I think he's definitely going to continue that. But he's scoring, 50-yard touchdowns every game. I doubt that's going to happen every week, but he definitely always has a chance to score in the offense that he plays in. Yeah, especially with the game scripts that he's about to have too, throughout the playoffs. We got some tough run defenses against Carolina and against New Orleans, but those teams can't sustain offense.
And Fournette's literally been getting 5, 6, 7 catches a game at this point. I wanted to say this too, but I mean, we're not going to make another rest of season's rankings video. But if we were to make a rest of season's rankings video from here on out, I wouldn't be shocked if we're talking about Fournette legitimately as like a top 6 or 7 running back rest of season.
That's what he's been the whole year. So
it's crazy to say that going into the year, like this was a guy that you were routinely getting to the 11th, 12th round, and
I wish I would have attacked him a little bit harder in my season long leagues. I kind of clued into it when I saw the Americas game of the Buccaneers, where it tells the story of our like Super Bowl season, and Leonard Fournette was in it. I was like, I think they trust this guy, man. I think this guy's about to win some people some leagues. So throughout the end of the like best ball summer, I was just smashing Leonard Fournette by the end of it. And he's ended up being like my highest owned running back by the end of the summer. I wish I would have taken him in more. The only league I took him in was the Tone Setters, and my entire team got hurt. So I wish I would have taken him in my home league because I passed on him for Bateman, where he was available. And Bateman, I thought we had an IR spot. So I reached on Bateman because I'm like, oh, I'll just throw this guy on IR. And I ended up dropping him because we didn't have an IR spot. And then they added an IR spot after the season started, which don't get me started on that. Yeah, I literally passed on Fournette for Rashad Bateman, which is a really annoying mistake that I made. Anyway, let's speed through these questions, and I'm going to watch the game. You guys think Carter is startable coming off IR for the Jets against Miami? I do. I think he's definitely startable. Mid to back end RB2. Thank God, man. Zach Wilson needs some fucking help out there. He didn't have either of his tackles, either of his receivers, or his running back last week.
Are you starting him this week though?
It depends what my other options are, but I would rather start him over like Rashad Penny.
I'd rather start Penny.
Ugh, dude, you're way too trusting in Rashad Penny and Pete Carroll.
You're way too trusting in the Jets offense.
I'm trusting in Carter's role. I'm not trusting in the Jets offense.
I mean, I sent you the picture on Twitter about what their target distribution looked like this week.
Yeah, it was brutal. Who is D. Montgomery? I thought that was David Montgomery.
DJ Montgomery.
Who the hell is that?
No, bro, I remember in the live stream, I'm like, okay, would you have to be at all shocked if like Crowder was like a top 30 receiver this season? And I'm like, oh, I forgot. Nah, it's the Jets. They just don't give a fuck.
Connor just made a one-handed catch. What in the hell is going on?
He's gross.
Okay, that's exactly how we do it. Yeah, so I guess they do the playoffs trading as well. He said playoffs are week 16 onwards. Please don't tell me you have your championship in week 18, Bilal. You got to correct that if that is the case. Just Chris with a little face. Don't know what that even means. Eliminated in both my leagues with monster teams. Sucks to be the one with the most points against. Yeah, that's brutal. I hate that shit. Respect to whoever made the playoffs drafting A-Rob and Ayuk because I couldn't. Yeah, that is also a tough scene. And you know what's annoying about that is that you were probably like, oh, I got a wide receiver 1 that's going to be safe, and then I got an upside swing. Neither of them were useful.
Rams just got a pick or a fumble or something.
On Connor here?
I think Kyler fumbled.
Oh, maybe you're ahead of me.
Fumbled.
You might be ahead of me.
Oh, the pick.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, they did. Is that a pick? Oh, okay. No, did they tackle him?
Yeah.
Was that a 6 or was that a... Anyway, appreciate the help from you guys. Hope I get the playoff dub this week. Yes, appreciate it. And let me know what you guys want to see tomorrow. We had a discussion in Discord what video I was going to do. Somebody suggested that I do a video, 10 players I'm trusting in the playoffs and 10 that I'm not. I thought that was a really good idea, so I'm probably going to do something like that. But I'm probably going to need an idea for next week's Tuesday video as well. So if you guys want to throw it in the comments of this live stream or DM me or whatever on Discord or Twitter, let me know, and I'll probably make it happen. Thanks for staying, guys. Us hosers in the States appreciate it. Hosers? What are you using a hoser term for? Yeah, I appreciate it, Nigel. Thanks for being a member and supporting. Nah, it's only 4 teams. Week 17 is finals. Oh, true. Okay, so we're going to head out of here. Enjoy the game, guys.
Peace out.